December 29th, 1854. The following is a copy of a paper written by me, Andrew Walker, on the request of James M. Stone, and signed by both of us. In consequence of reports about town that some remarkable manifestations of spiritual rappings, or table tippings, had been witnessed at a number of places, particularly at the house of Captain Thomas Lord, we, J.M. Stone and Andrew Walker, called by appointment at his house on the evening of the 23rd instant in order to witness this phenomenon. There were present Captain Lord and wife, their adopted daughter Susan Lord, Miss Lydia Currier, William Littlefield, and Miss Amanda Robinson. Captain Lord and Miss Currier are said to be strong mediums, but Miss Robinson is reported to be the strongest of any known medium in town. As nearly all the manifestations or raps were made in connection with ourselves, we shall speak of them only. In order to obtain the raps, the mediums and others, if they wished, placed the palms of their hands flat on the surface of a table. After waiting a few minutes, slight upward movement of two legs on the table, opposite the mediums, was manifested. Captain Lord then asked, "Is a spirit present?" The table made three upward movements, which we were told signified yes. One movement signifies no, and two movements means do not know. Each person then asked, "Is it a friend of mine?" To which questions no was answered until Walker, when three raps, or yes, was given. Walker then asked, "Is it my father?" No. Mother? No. Sister? No. Brother? No. Cousin? Yes. Captain Lord then asked, "Will you give us your name by one of us calling over the letters of the alphabet?" Yes. Captain Lord then commenced calling the letters until he came to S, when three raps were given. He then repeated the alphabet until he come to U, when yes was given again, signifying that U was the second letter of the given name, and so on, until the name of Susan Fairfield of Limerick was rapped out. I, Andrew Walker, do not recollect, neither do I believe, that I have ever had a cousin by that name, either as a relative by blood or marriage. This phantom lady then yielded her place to one who reported herself to be the spirit of my mother. On my inquiries of this spirit, any test questions such as "How many children did you have?" "How long have you been dead?" and other similar questions, no correct answers were obtained. Captain Lord at this time felt grieved and remarked that he feared we should not witness the usual correct answers to questions asked. A short time after, the table again signified that it would like to talk, as it is termed, with me again, and spelt out the name of Edward Smith by the usual method. This young man was an old schoolmate and friend of mine, who about 17 years since pledged to me his word, a few days before he died, that he would, if permitted, return and inform me of life beyond the grave. Andrew Walker then asked Smith, "Will you tell me your age at death?" No, and other similar questions, to which no was invariably answered. Then I asked, "Do you wish to communicate anything to me?" Yes. I, Andrew Walker, then commenced calling the letters of the alphabet. J.M. Stone wrote each letter as the following sentences were distinctly rapped out. "Believe the Bible and you will find it true. Remember me and come to God and you shall find me." By the request of Captain Lord, J.M. Stone wrote privately a certain word on a piece of paper and put the paper in my pocket. This word, lamp, was distinctly rapped out on calling over the letters of the alphabet by Captain Lord. Also the words knife and good at subsequent trials. As there was a manifestation that my mother wishes to talk with me, I asked her Will you tell me your first name? Yes. And Lydia, her true name, was given. Will you tell me the number of your children? Yes. And 6 raps were given. Will you tell me the number of your own children? Yes. And the table rapped 4 times. Which is the true number? My father had 2 wives, by the first wife 2 children, and my own mother 4 children, but my mother had care of the 6. Again there was a manifestation that one of my friends was present, who rapped out her name to be Frances Stone. Said I, "Are you dead?" "No." "Do you wish to communicate with me?" "Yes." And "all well" was her communication. Frances Stone is my brother's wife. They live at Kennebunkport. Captain Lord remarked that he should like for us to hear a singular and ludicrous sound produced by what he called Hutchins. The mediums then placed their hands, as usual, on the table, and in a few moments Captain Lord asked, "Is Hutchins present?" "Yes." "Will you give us a specimen of whetting your saw?" "Yes." And singular as it may appear, the faint but distinct and peculiar sound of saw whetting was heard to proceed from the table. "Now, Hutchins," said Captain Lord, "we want you to saw off a board." Then the same faint but distinct and peculiar sound of a person thus employed was heard by all of us. "Now, Hutchins, let us hear you nail up your board." And still the same faint but distinct and peculiar sound of hammering was heard by all of us present. As the spirits appeared to be more truthful and accommodating than they did when our interview, or rather intercourse, commenced, Captain Lord remarked that a powerful influence, which he called Samson, might be induced to give us a specimen of his strength, although he was not always willing to accommodate. All persons present who were supposed to possess any power as mediums then placed their hands on a work table with the leaves extended. Captain Lord asked, "Is the spirit of Samson present?" "Yes." "Will you give us a specimen of your strength?" "Yes." I, Andrew Walker, then by request, placed my hands on each side of the table and bore down with all of my strength, but the power of Samson was too much for me. The table rocked or vibrated so powerfully that I was lifted from my feet by its motion. J.M. Stone tried the same experiment and was operated on in the same manner. During a part of the manifestation, a small portion of the work table was used, but part of the time a 4-foot mahogany dining table performed the raps through the mediums. In order to be understood, we have used such words and expressions as spirit and spiritual rappings because they are commonly used, but we do not consider them proper terms. We are aware we have been telling a tough story, a story which appears to be not only ridiculous but positively absurd. All we have to say is, as we have narrated, so it appears to us. We do not believe this power or influence was through the agency of departed or living spirits or any supernatural power. All we can say is we believe the manifestations which we saw were produced by the operation of some natural law or laws to us unknown. Andrew Walker and James Stone.